the October 28th meeting to order at 6:02. Roll call of directors.
Landra Zero.
Here.
Diane Gorman.
Here.
Donna Kaiser.
Here.
Jessica Maple.
Here.
Megan Stankowski.
Here.
Paul Nowinski.
Here.
David Bauer.
Here.
Derek Ness.
Here.
Joe Knadler.
Here.
Item number 3, Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge right there. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we go to item number 4, we've had to make one minor adjustment after the approval of the minutes. Item 6 will be the student board report. Ruby has a variety show practice that she has to get to. Okay? With that, that is the only adjustment that we'll be making. So I'll seek a motion for approval of the minutes.
So you're moving 7 up after, and
I'm
making
moving
it
7
6.
up after 5.
Okay. Got it.
So she is not late for the variety
Yep.
show.
Got it.
And get your tickets. Oh, sorry, Jessica. I promised Jessica I wasn't gonna talk too much.
I'll make.
Motion by Kaiser.
I'll second.
Second by Gorman. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Approval, item number 5, approval of the minutes. Item A, approval of minutes from the September 16th, 2025 annual meeting. Got a motion by Maple,
Second.
second by Bauer. Any discussion? Everybody looked at them, everything good? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item B, approval of the minutes from the September 16th, 2025 meeting, the regular school board meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion by Gorman,
I'll second.
second by Nest. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion carries. Item number 6, the student board report.
Alrighty, good evening. My name is Ruby Slowicki, and I'm here tonight to highlight some student successes over the last month. Student Senate had an electric homecoming week. Diving into the wonders of Disney movies for a week, our student body had the highest involvement in years, putting on activities like a dodgeball tournament, talent show, pep rally, parade, and a homecoming dance with nearly 450 attendees. Now, Student Senate's planning the next fundraising event, the Leadership Conference, and Winter Spirit activities. They're proud to be promoters of school spirit, leadership, and representation. Vocal Motion and the concert choir have been extremely busy with fundraising activities, ultimately preparing for their New Orleans trip this coming March. They've been working concessions at swim meets and volleyball games, and they've recently provided lunch to the teachers at this month's in-service on October 6th. We also have a variety show coming up next weekend. The One Act Play Club is making its way toward the next competition. On October 13th, they were at a competition and qualified for sectionals on November 5th. They're currently working hard to perfect their characters and set for a more immersive show. FCCLA held their first meeting on October 13th, inviting new members and welcoming back returning members from previous years. They're excited to begin working on star events for the upcoming year and finding ways to positively impact their community. During ELT and study halls, members are busy continuing to make the Motique, our student resource closet, a better place for everyone through restocking food and going through donations from the community. Cross country recently traveled up to Rhinelander for their GNC championship meet. The boys team took 3rd and the girls took 6th. 5 individuals also received all conference awards. Tonight they're hosting their banquet. Dance team ended homecoming this year with a bang, dancing for all of first half and at halftime. They also recently held tryouts for the official competition team and had their first practice on October 20th. They are preparing for their first competition on November 15th. 5 students attended Youth Philanthropy Program on October 20th, hosted by the Community Foundation of North Central Wisconsin. The senior cohort had their second meeting, and they're currently beginning motion on finding investors, supporters, and fundraising opportunities. Their goal for the year is to connect with society to build $25,000 for next year's junior cohort to give as a grant towards their philanthropic mission. The junior cohort met for the first time last Monday. Their goal for the year is to learn how to build a grant application, review applications, and award a total of $20,000 to nonprofit organizations that fit the mission they will decide on soon. The football team took down Turner 41-7 with an early onslaught in the WIA Level 1 playoff game on the 24th. Up next, they're hosting Evansville on the 31st for the Level 2 playoff game. The swim team is earning many PRs and they're having fun along the way. They ended up placing 8th overall. The soccer team just got a regional semifinal win against Wapaka with a score of 4-0. The volleyball team won regional champs and they have an upcoming sectional semifinal on the 30th. Model UN has been meeting every Tuesday to prepare for their first competition on the 15th. Last week they received information on countries and committees that they will be representing. And today they began working on position papers to describe their country's interests on their topic. DECA members are embracing the spooky holiday season as they prepare for their annual event, Trick or Can. The fundraising effort collects canned goods for the Mosinee Community Center of Hope. During the first week of Halloween, members go door to door collecting donations, and they finish on Halloween by picking up all remaining items. Members also recently completed the Color a Smile activity, coloring cheerful images with positive messages. They will then be distributed across the country to hospitals, nursing homes, troops overseas, and more. We're proud to support the community in positive ways and bring smiles to people across the nation. That is all I have for tonight.
Does anybody have any questions, anything? Ruby, nice job, always very thorough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck and good luck in practice, okay?
Thank you.
All right, awesome, thank you. Okay, we're moving to item 7 now, special presentation. And Mr. Doverspike, if it's A, do you want to do the honors?
No,
or
go
do you-
ahead.
Okay.
It's a
All right,
School Board Association
we have, if
honor.
we could have Newton Electric and Banner Electric come forward, please. The Wisconsin Association of School Board Business Honor Roll. The Wisconsin Association of School Boards and the Mosinee School District recognize Banner Electric Company and Newton Electric Company for their work in supporting our local public schools and students. And we just want to say thank you for all you do. Appreciate that. We make sure I get the right form.
Yeah, we'll do some sort of a picture, Paul.
Okay, hang on, let me, this is the last one? How was the root beer bill?
Excellent.
Awesome.
Thanks for sharing.
Awesome. And just so you know, in the community, these two groups of businesses help this community so much. It's incredible. You're gonna find out eventually they both have helped again. One did our original football lights and one did our youth football lights. And we just appreciate everything you do, and we're just a great honor to have you in our community and the support that you show us. So thank you very much. I'm gonna keep Mr. Newton, if you wanna go here or here, what do you wanna do?
Yeah, just thank you guys for everything
Yes,
you've
thank
done and continue to do for the school district.
Thank you for your best in the future.
Yep.
Thank
And if
you.
I see you, I'll have the root beer barrels. Okay, item B, this is Zach Newton, former student of mine, but Mosinee Youth Football, I don't know if you wanna go to the podium, you wanna stay here? What do you wanna do?
This is fine.
I know you gotta go somewhere.
Yep.
We got dance with daughter, right?
Yes, Stella has.
Are you dancing too?
I probably won't dance a whole lot.
I've seen you at dances.
Not real great.
Yeah.
All right, so I was just hoping to talk to you guys just a little bit quickly about, out at the MAC, complex. We've been doing a lot of work out there trying to kind of get things going. The football field has always been, we only have one, right? So it's always been kind of a struggle to get all of the games in, not beat up this field too bad, keep it looking nice for Friday nights. So we were able to get that field kind of up and running, and we got lights put on it this year. We've been putting a lot of effort into making it nicer, and it's gone over great. We've had a ton of people using it. I know I sent some videos, some drone footage to Steve. I don't remember, or I don't know if that ever got to you guys or not.
It's in Steve's report.
Okay, perfect. I mean, we had cars parked all the way out the range line with grandmas and grandpas coming to watch the little kids all the way second, third graders playing flag football under the lights. Something we are looking for right now, and I won't lie, just like everybody else, like, we're out of money out there right now. So I was hoping to talk to you guys to see, we do have an issue with somebody, we don't know who it is or how many people it might be, kind of tearing up the parking lot that we put in. And we've gone out to the field a couple of times, nothing portable to the field, it's always been fixable. But our goal for our next thing would be to get a fence up, and obviously, talking with Bruce, we wanna match the fences that we put everywhere else. It would be a black PVC fence. We don't need to go as high as on a baseball field, if it's just something 4 feet, just to deter traffic from deciding to go out there. I did go out and get a couple of quotes. The higher of the 2 quotes is like $14,000 to put up the fence all the way from, there would be a small piece of fence, to the south off the turf field. Then we would go all the way up the right field line, come straight off of that, put a gate there to be able to get back in, a gate behind home plate to get through, like where the sprinkler system is and all the power back there. Then we would go west for 700 feet, all the way to the pine trees, and then have a gateway on the west end to be able to get back to the storage containers that we have for football and softball.
It was a large group of people. I actually went out there a few times. They took the old high school scoreboard. It's there. They have storage containers. If you haven't been out there, you really should go out there. It's amazing. It really frees up the community, because they used to always have to play Saturday mornings. And now you're playing Tuesdays, Thursdays?
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Between flag football and tackle bar for 5th and 6th graders. So, and it's, like I said, it's been working out great. People like it. They love to have their Saturdays back. We were concerned about officiating, but found out that a lot of the officials that used to do high school games that are kind of working into retirement, but they're not quite ready to give it up, they love a Tuesday, Wednesday night game for flag football. We don't have officials, but for tackle ball.
Can you get those quotes to Steve too?
I can.
Would you please?
Yep.
We'll see
Just
what
forward
we can-
it.
For
Okay.
Mr. Doverstock.
Okay, I can do that.
I greatly appreciate everything. It was a large group. I was there
Yes.
when the Wisconsin Public Service truck was there.
Yep, yeah, Jared was a huge part of, it was kind of Jared and I's vision to get this going. Jared came through very huge with, getting WPS to, they had 5 guys that showed up to donate their time. Public service allowed us to use their equipment to set poles. Banner donated all the HDPE to bring everything in. And we just kept.
Again, everything, no school funds were used.
Yeah.
Everything was privately donated.
Yeah, yep, either donated or money that we raised through
Yeah.
our couple of fundraisers for MYF, and similar with the new scoreboard, that's why we took the old one out there. It's good enough for a youth field still, barely, but it took us a full day to get
works.
it took us a full day to get it to come back on, but it's on, so we're happy for now.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Zach.
Thank you guys for your
Thank you.
consideration.
Thank you.
Very good.
We have a lot of community members that do a lot of things, and it's great to see them honored. All right, item C, we have a presentation by the Valley Community Credit Union.
Good evening. My name's Becky. I am the branch manager of the Valley Communities Credit Union here in Mosinee. And we're always looking at ways to give back to our community. And one of the ways that we do this is we have what's called the Mosinee Middle School Credit Union. The Middle School Credit Union started around 2012 and had been going strong. COVID, we had to step back, and then we are looking at ways of revamping it and going forward. So the last couple of years, we've made some changes, and we're really looking forward to getting more students involved and becoming financially aware so that they have that financial security when they get older and understand more of what's going on. So the middle school is open on Wednesdays during 4th through 8th grade period lunches. We have, during that time, an MSR from my office. Jen comes and sits there, and she can take deposits, and then we also do financial literacy activities that we have for the different grades. And they can turn those in for proud slips or also for drawing. So if you bring your student or your child brings in a deposit, they get entered into a drawing at the end of the year for $150 for themselves and then $150 for their choice of teacher. So it's a way to give back to their favorite teacher, which I know last year was greatly appreciated. They used it for stuff in their room. We also do, for the number of financial worksheets completed by the class, the one that has the most, they get a prize at the end of the year, whether it's a pizza party or popcorn or ice cream. We're just really trying to get more awareness for students on what it means to have money and save money. So, as some parents don't like sending money to school with, depending on the age or the responsibility of that child, this year we actually created deposit slips. So they can come up to that table during lunch, or maybe they forgot it at home, and get a deposit slip and bring it to any of our branches and get credit for that, and still get their proud slip, still get their punches for our kids and teen club, and still get the credit just like they had brought it to school. And then this year we brought back our student tellers. So what that is a volunteer student that can sit with Jen and learn how to fill out the deposit slip and do the deposits with her, and understanding how she has to track it and how you have to make sure the money you're getting is the same as what they're telling you they're getting. We have one student currently that is signed up for that, and I believe that there's a couple more that have shown interest that we'll be working with Mrs. Treba on how to get them, where they go through an application process and an interview and that. So we are working on taking that with the next step of making this more about that student really learning, the students learning about what it means to save, what they can get by saving their money for that, and making it fun. We want to make it fun. So there's different things they can pick out, prizes out of a toy chest that we have there for the financial activities. The financial activities do not have to be a member with us to be deposits. They do. So we have sent a letter out at the beginning of the year, and then the last couple years at the end of the year too, and we are at the opening open house. So first I want to thank Mrs. Treva and Mrs. Wollersheim for their enthusiasm this year. They've been a great help with that. We've already had 49 financial activities and 2 deposits completed by the students. And then besides the middle school credit union this year, we also have reached out to the DECA students, and we're working on partnering with them and Mrs. Kurtzwell, who oversees them. We're actively growing that to look at including getting the students ready for districts, being financial literacy speakers, and some other opportunities that we're trying to partner with them, and looking forward to building that relationship. So I really just wanted to present to you guys today so that you're aware of what your communities do, or your businesses in our communities, just like the football and the electric and doing that. We love helping our community and giving back. So anything that comes up during a board meeting that you think should be given us awareness, we would appreciate you giving us that back so we can help you guys help the rest of the community. Is there any questions?
No. Thank you very much.
Thank you for all the support.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. If you want to help out with the fence on the field, you can.
That's why I gave him my card.
Nice job. All right, item D, presentation by the Mosinee Middle School.
Good evening, Kate Wallenstein, middle school principal. Thanks for having me. All right, we're rolling. All right, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to just kind of give you a window into the world of learning in the middle school. I'm gonna kind of jump from where Fitz left us last month at our September board meeting and looking at the elementary level and how we're using some of those AI tools in our classrooms and in our schools, and show you a little bit of what that looks like in the middle school. I do, I'm actually gonna go all the way to the end first, and I am going to show you this slide as we kind of kick it off. Because I do want to say that if you were to step into our middle school on any given day and walk through our hallways and peek into our classrooms, you would hear the hallways buzzing, and you would hear the enthusiasm and organized chaos, and in many situations filled with the things that you imagine and you envision when you think about school and learning and kids. We have group work, we have hands-on, right? We're building and exploding volcanoes outside, and we're making posters, and we're doing simulations in classrooms. So although today I'm going to talk about those AI tools in our classrooms and how they're leveraging learning at a way that maybe we couldn't have predicted 15, 20 years ago, the world of learning in a lot of ways still looks similar in a lot of moments too. So it's a tool, it's a balance, and as we're preparing our kids for the future, I think it's important to keep that in mind too. I will also start with this. Earlier today, and I apologize, I don't know, there we go. Earlier today, as part of a conversation, kind of just reflecting on, it was a meeting that I was not a part of, but it was a meeting with some of our district administrators and some local business leaders, and collaborating around what are the things we need to do, what are the things we need to provide for our kids to make sure that they are ready for life after school, right? When they leave us and we send them into the real world. And I heard somebody say, the purpose of school isn't to be good at school, it's to prepare kids for life. And that resonates with me because you've heard us talk about liftoffs. We're a liftoffs district. This is not my slide, I stole it from them, I did not ask permission, so here it is, I'm giving them credit right now. But it's important because I think it lays the foundation and it reminds us of why we're investing in some of those AI tools. Sometimes I think when we talk about AI, we envision kids buried in screens their entire day at school, teachers not teaching because they have these AI bots that they can interact with, and it is quite the opposite. It's definitely not what our classrooms look like. So one of the things on this slide, it talks about those durable skills. And those are the things that out of this meeting between our district administrators and our local business leaders really focused on how are we making sure that kids, when they graduate from Mosinee, that they have those durable skills, communication, collaboration, creative thinking, all of the things that you've heard before. And so how are we using all of the tools we have available to us to make sure that our kids are prepared as they head out. You've heard us talk about personalized learning, so really just meeting kids where they're at, and AI tools are giving us the ability to do that. Again, in ways that we couldn't have predicted. I think back to my first couple of years of teaching and what I wouldn't have given to have some of those tools to meet the kid who was reading at a 6th grade level, right, sitting next to the kid who's reading at a 12th grade level. It gives us the ability, gives our teachers the ability to instantly adjust that curriculum. It gives them the ability to ask questions that are leveled to where they're at. And some of that individual autonomy to dive into the learning a little bit deeper if you don't want to be the kid with your hand up, right? I think back to our experience in middle school, if we didn't know the answer, we had a couple options. You could pretend it like you knew. You could hope your neighbor told you the answer, or put your hand up and wait for a really long time and wait for the teacher to get to you. So some of the things that I hope to show you in just a second, hopefully give you a window into how it's actually helping our kids engage in their own learning. And the other thing that I do want to mention, that those teacher-student relationships, teachers are still at the heart of learning. And it is the opposite sometimes, I think, of what we imagine when we think of kids on computers. AI tools, and in some of the things that I'll show you, give teachers the ability to move and connect with more kids than I have ever seen in ways that are incredibly meaningful. While the rest of the class stays engaged in what they're doing and can get some of that feedback as well. I don't know if this is going to work. I'm assuming it's not going to work. Can I search it? Is that okay? So I do have to apologize. The quality of the video is not great. If it lets me pull it up, I don't know. We'll see. On the spot here. And I thought it would be a good way for you to see a window into the world of the middle school. Here we go. Through a student view. So it's 3 minutes long. I'm going to hit play. Maybe do we have sound? Possibly. We'll find out. All right. Here goes nothing.
here, in the lower right hand corner. There you go.
Yep.
It's okay. If it doesn't work, we can, it's on the screen.
Right.
What's that?
The remote is right there.
I've got about-
Uh-oh. It's on this computer. It's okay. We can see.
Their best to reach everyone at once. Learning happened at one speed, and often that meant some students moved ahead.
It's okay.
while others
So I'm happy to share it with you. I will, and you can watch it on your own, I will warn you though that the quality is not great. I will just show you some of the screenshots from the video itself. So, just some footage of in the classroom and what it looks like, right, when teachers are moving around the room connecting with kids, and maybe I'll just kind of play it and you can kind of see it as I talk a little bit. Some of the tools that are available to our students, really that's what I wanted this video to highlight, so you could hear from them and from their perspective of how it's actually useful. In this particular classroom, we have kids who are engaging in a writing process with a teacher who's able to kind of move around and connect with kids, and really hone in on the questions that they have after having received some of that specific targeted feedback. With an AI bot that's built into the systems that they're using, that's part of the curriculum that we've adopted. So this is actually an 8th grade ELA classroom, and they were using a writing coach to submit their papers. This is a 6th grade math classroom. In just a second, you'll see a 7th grade math classroom. They're using Conmigo, which is built into Khan. And this particular student doesn't know how to solve the problem, so she's having a conversation with that bot, and it's coaching her on things she can try. Absolutely not giving her the answer, right? I had her type in, what's the answer? And it won't give it to her, right? It gave her lots of ways to go around it, and like asking what she knows and how can she, what kinds of things can she try? So I will share this out. I have a couple other slides that I could talk through some of the specific things real quick. So underneath this was just some images of the Conmigo, so that math program that allows kids to really dive into it and ask questions. So you saw the math teacher connecting with one student on a problem. The rest of the class was just engaged in a 15-minute leveled math practice before they dive into the content, right? So if I am a struggling math learner and I'm still working on some of those basic things, I'm engaged in that program for 15 minutes, and if I get stuck and my teacher is busy, I have an AI bot, right, that I can ask some questions to, and if I still don't get it, right, in that time I've tried a couple things, maybe I don't have to sit there for 10 minutes and wait for that teacher to get to me. This picture is a picture of the Savvy Writing Coach. So within our 7th and 8th grade ELA curriculum, those things along the side, it analyzes the writing and it gives the student instant feedback without giving them the answer. It doesn't solve their problems for them. It just indicates, hey, you have really bad punctuation, or you didn't develop your topic well enough. I don't actually know what you're talking about. There's no thesis. And it will just give some feedback and pointers of how they can go back and do that before they actually submit it to be graded. So not providing answers, really providing coaching, but student access to a teacher at any given time. This is another one that maybe you'll hear, and I think, right, why did I want to present this? If I were a parent in the district and I wasn't in education, if I didn't live in this world and my kid came home and talked about these things, I'd have a little bit of like, what are you talking about, right? What are these things that you're doing and how is it beneficial? But there's so many things, and these are just some of the things that maybe you've heard about. The other one is Brisk. It's actually an extension of Google Chrome that anybody can access, and teachers can use it to create a bunch of things, including language translation, leveling the reading abilities for a classroom. It's the same article, the same video, whatever it might be. I can instantly meet my kids where they're at, and they can receive that content regardless of where their levels are, and all kinds of other things. So one of the things in the video, one of the students that I interviewed, she said, it kind of helps us know what to do when we don't know what to do. And I love that, because I think back to what's the purpose of school? It's not to be good at school, it's to make sure we're preparing our kids for life. And those durable skills that I talked about initially, how are we helping our kids know what to do when they don't know what to do? And providing some of those resources and teaching kids how to use them and access them to increase their own learning is a really, really powerful thing for kids. It's our future. Screens are not our constant, but they are absolutely part of our future and some of those skills that our business leaders talked about. So I'll end again with the fact that it is absolutely a balance. You won't walk through a middle school and see kids buried in screens all day. Learning is active, and part of that active learning includes all of the AI tools that we have access to. So, any questions?
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So earlier in your presentation, you had stated that kids cannot work around the AI. They can't get the answer. So that's here at school, but then when they get home,
Absolutely.
they can do that.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I could go to ChatGPT anytime, and that was part of my conversation with some of the students that I interviewed for that video. So I think teaching those skills, right, and getting kids to invest in their learning and find value in the process is part of our job too. And helping kids understand that I'm going to have to actually solve this equation and know how to go about doing this on my own on an assessment, and my grade depends on it. So if I'm just plugging them into ChatGPT and it spit out the answers and I'm writing them down and turning it in, it's doing nothing for my own learning. Is it gonna happen? Absolutely. But I also would argue that it happened growing up for me, right, copying somebody else's homework or, something similar. So, I'm sorry, go
So
ahead.
what you're saying is during final exams or tests, that exams are then going to be to counter the possibility of looking it up on ChatGPT at home, that we are administering the tests or exams in school so that the firewalls are there in place, that they cannot go and do an exam at home and then cheat, correct?
I would argue that would be up to a teacher in those individual situations, right? So I think the truth is the world we live in, any one of us could grab a phone, go to ChatGPT or any other AI open source and get information.
I would say the overwhelming majority of our tests, can't think of any my child has ever
Tests.
taken at home.
Correct. Oh, I would agree
Yeah.
with you. Yeah. If it's specifically about tests,
Yes.
those are happening in
Yes.
schools. Yes. Yeah, I apologize. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So it's about the process.
Yeah, it's about teaching the process. Absolutely.
I have a quick question too.
Yeah.
Sorry, so as far as, we had looked at the math and some of the reading, or math scores we had over time, and we had kind of have been ticking down. This was one of the things we had kind of looked at to say, hey, this might be an opportunity to use this as a tool to help improve it. We approved a different curriculum. How soon do we know that this is moving that needle? I guess what benchmark would we be using to
John,
kind
you
of
want
keep it?
to touch on that?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we have local data that it can provide as far as learning goes. I'm not sure how long you can say longitudinally looking at data if that's
Right.
a specific reason.
Yeah, so when we looked at those scores, or it was in that, I think it was last
Yep,
month's report
yep,
or whatever,
and
that was
next
based
month
on a
we'll have the
standardized,
report
that's an annual test?
Yeah.
That's not something that's checked?
No,
Okay,
that-
that's why I
that's
was
the-
curious because were establishing our own benchmarks to say, hey, here's the
Right.
progress we're doing, we've got our own dashboards that we're using to measure our progress internally, which I think is important, so I was just curious to know like when we.
Yeah,
when we
and
could see.
so we can't talk about, I was hoping we could talk report cards this month, we have to wait till next month because they're still embargoed by the state currently, but when we get there, we'll talk about, that is one of the struggles with those annual tests, is we get them once and then we don't see them again for a year, so how do we find that lead data?
Mhm.
The one nice thing about these tools is it is generating a lot better and faster data in our classrooms for that local data to know what standards kids are mastering. It's helping our teachers develop plans for kids who haven't mastered it yet, as well as plans for kids who have already mastered it. What are some extension ideas to push that kid further? They've mastered it. So I would say the real-time data that's provided informs instruction in a more timely manner.
Mhm.
But to be able to pinpoint this from a longitudinal state assessment, it might be
Mhm.
a couple years to know for
Okay,
sure.
so that's where
the
that last
reason.
benchmark we had looked at.
Right. Yeah.
So are there still going to be the standardized tests that the kids have to take, every year? That'll
Yes.
still
Until
be
the state
it?
changes the law.
Those are
Okay,
Yep.
so, and this teaches to that? I mean.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, yep, grade level standards, absolutely, yep.
There are some kids that the standardized test means nothing to them. And
No.
you need to be aware of that.
Yep.
They're gonna be done in 5 minutes. They'll just go, hey. It means nothing to them. And that's a problem we have to solve. We have to somehow get them to be intrinsically motivated about the process and learning, and that everything they do has a measure to it. Thank you very much. Oh, did you
I
have
just had a
question?
quick
Sorry.
question. Are you, so you're able to, this might have been answered already, so you're able to see like what a student is struggling with or what types of things they're asking? So like that, the quiet kid that never asks questions, and so the assumption is, oh, they must be good because never ask anything, but in reality they're terrified. So
Yeah.
you can like reach those,
Yeah.
or if they're, okay.
Yeah, within the programs itself, the teacher can click in and read the transcript of every student and see how they've been engaging within that conversation back and forth. Yep,
Thanks.
Do they ever have discussions with the kids about that?
absolutely, yeah, so it's learning the process. Yep, modeled and taught initially and then practiced along the way and revisited all of the time.
Thank you.
So I think the argument, Kate, I don't know if the rest of you would agree, but I would say we know more about our kids now because of this than we did ever before.
Absolutely. And the levels that they're at, the things they're good at, and the things they're struggling with.
Just look at their search history.
But wouldn't the kid also sometimes be able to play the system as well, is it not push them as much as, how does it get a child or a student to push them to their full extent? How are you gonna know that we're reaching those that can actually do more?
I think that's where we rely on humans, right? So it's going to continue to level up.
Right.
And can any kid game a system? Yes, if I wanna act like I don't know what this is, so I don't have to do something that's harder or challenging, but in the classroom, I'm going to have to. So
Okay.
the curriculum continues, and I'm gonna have to continue to engage in that process along the way
Right.
to be successful in class.
Okay.
You know, we talk a lot about like developing their soft skills and helping with that. You know, I can see a lot of the benefits of this, just being able to see, like you said, where the students are struggling or which ones are more farther ahead, but then I worry about, you know, because a student that is afraid to raise his hand, I think there's some benefit in him pushing himself socially to do that. You know, my worry would be that, you know, we would kind of, kids might shy away from doing that because they can just ask their questions
And I think
there.
that's why I wanted to start and end with this particular slide, because we know those things are true too, right? In no way, shape, or form is this all day, every day, in any single classroom. It's a tool kids can access at home, it's 15 minutes, you know, during this math practice. It's in pieces here and there, absolutely not all day, every day. Just another tool they have access to, but those things are also, are infused in what we do in classrooms still.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kate.
Item E, construction project update. I think, Dan, you're filling in for
Sorry.
Steve.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dan Dowell, custodial supervisor here at the district. Filling in for
All
Steve
around nice
while he's
guy,
gone.
too.
I'm all around, yeah. So the last few weeks have been really exciting out on the job site. The concrete precast wall panels have all been delivered and installed. We're getting tied in with the roof decking and bar joists. All the interior concrete flat work has been completed also. So this coming up month is gonna be a big push on closing that envelope, getting the roof on, getting the windows in, you know, temporary windows in, and getting the temporary heat going. So we can keep everyone going with the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing installed. One big thing is the big M out front has been installed. I don't know if anyone's been able to drive by and kind of see that.
Yes, it's gonna get painted in the spring.
It will get painted, yes, as you can see from the rendering in the corner, they're purple and white. So, not only is that a beautiful thing, but it also is structural. Ties into the roof above to help support that far corner.
And I believe Dan is also a huge, snow windbreak.
Yes, yep, it'll stop the wind from hitting the main entrance there and help with the drifting and stuff, yep. So, that's really all I have.
Yeah, things are progressing well. Obviously, hopefully, depending upon what the board wants to do, we can take you out there for tours sometime in the next couple of months. But yeah, we're trying to get the envelope cleared up or get the envelope sealed up, so work can continue throughout the winter. You know, obviously, the goal is for us to take occupancy of the addition in early June, as in like June 4th, I believe is the target date. And then as we start progressing through the year, we're gonna start, we have a pretty elaborate schedule we've worked out with Findorf and the various individuals to start some project, Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, and utilizing all those times to get some things done like abatement and that, so it'll speed up the process then when we turn over the building to them at 3:45 on May 22nd, they can get going and get the renovation part done.
Your initial reactions have been good to work with.
Yeah, I can't complain, they've been really responsive, they've been great to work with. We have meetings out at the trailer every other week on Wednesday mornings at 9:30.
Do you have a Findorf hard hat?
I do have a Findorf hard
So
hat.
do I.
So, yep. So, yeah, we're out there every other week in a meeting with them. They're starting to get some students involved. They're doing some student type tours and conversations with them. And that's one of the biggest things we wanted to do is through this as well, is use this as an educational opportunity for our kids. And an opportunity to promote the trades, and all the various trades that are out there in the workspace, because it's more than just Findorf employees out there. There's a lot of subcontractors out there from a lot of various entities.
They're really
doing a lot of
efficient.
stuff.
And
They're very efficient.
Yes.
Those truck drivers that come in are incredible.
Yeah. It's a
I
tight
have no
turnaround.
idea how they get in there,
It's a
but they do.
tight area. Newton Electric does have a student working with them too, during the day.
Yep, and then Findorf has one as well.
Findorf has one, yep.
Yep, just talked to them out there last week.
It's exciting driving by and seeing all the new things that are,
All the big changes, how
Yeah.
fast they have to.
Yeah, all of a sudden there'll be a pause and everybody won't, because everything will go inside and nobody will be able to see it, so everybody will wonder what's going on. It's like Christmas. You gotta wait for the present to get unwrapped.
This is a very exciting thing for us.
yeah.
It solves a lot of our problems.
A lot of headaches.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8, public forum. The public forum provides the public with the opportunity to ask questions about or address issues including on the school board meeting agenda. General operating rules of the public forum will be determined by the board president. Once the number of people wanting to participate, please sign up. Do we have any
No.
no speakers? Wow. All right. Item 9, consent agenda. Finance committee, personnel committee, instructional program. Is there anything that you pulled out or anything that was an issue?
Derek,
The
did
only
you,
thing we.
to add that dollar amount,
What's that?
that dollar amount to that one?
Oh, yeah, for the, plow truck, so it sounds like the old one that they've used, the flatbed, is kind of rusting out. Concern is that it may not make it through the winter. We had talked about authorizing a $25,000 limit for now, just to go out and get one pulled out of the capital improvement, or capital budget. Hopefully to find a used one, and if not, we may need to expand as we move forward, you know, time is of the essence.
That thing is pretty old, Dan, isn't it?
2005 is our oldest one.
That's a good use.
So do we need to pull it to bring it to the full board, is that the request?
No, but in the packet, there was nothing, it was just, informational, so we just put the dollar amount on that did not exist,
Yep.
so.
So we'll set an amount not to exceed, and if they find something quickly, maybe it'll work, but I think it'll be a challenge to find anything this time of year. It'll be even harder in a month.
The one item to bring to everybody's attention for the personnel committee, we changed the work day from 7:30 to 3:30. A big concern about safety, that we had kids in the building at 7:30 and staff didn't arrive until 7:40 sometimes. And now we will be requiring 7:30 to 3:30, starts January 1st. Just so everybody, we all agreed to it, but, thought it was an issue that everybody should know. Okay. I will take a motion for the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Gorman,
I'll second it.
second by Kaiser. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, discussion and possible decision, approval of monthly voucher list.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nest,
I'll second.
second by Gorman. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Stankowski,
Yes.
Nowinski,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Nest,
Yes.
Nadler,
Yes.
Zebro,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Maple.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 11, discussion possible decision, acceptance of monthly treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Nest,
Second.
second by Bauer. Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Nowinski,
Yes.
Bauer,
Yes.
Nest,
Yes.
Nadler,
Yes.
Zebro,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Maple,
Yes.
Stankowski.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 12, new business, discussion possible decision, early college credit.
Could I ask a question?
Oh, yeah,
On
yeah.
10 and 11?
Yep.
What if a majority said no? I
Then
haven't
it-
been with this long enough to.
Then it wouldn't pass.
Yeah,
And we
then it
wouldn't pay our
pass
bills.
and We wouldn't pay our bills.
The reason the process is there, the monthly voucher list and monthly treasurers, is just a checkup and assurance that this bill was for this, it's paid in the finance committee, is really when you kind of discuss those things.
You go over those?
Yeah, we go
Yeah.
through a lot of the
Yeah.
items that they call.
And
us
if there's a
specific.
red flag, they
Yep.
wanna bring it to the full board, like they mentioned the snowplow truck. That we've got an issue with our old snowplow truck, and they are projecting that we may have to spend $25,000 for a new, and that old truck lasted 20 years.
So really, because I said yes, doesn't mean I went through all those numbers.
Correct.
I go through them, but it's up to you. I like to know what we're spending money on. And you can see it, it's in your board packet
Yeah, I know.
online.
If you
And
go
you
through
can
it
ask
ahead of time, you
questions.
can always shoot it to the finance committee too,
Yeah.
and we can make sure we call out the specific checks and get details as well, so.
And again, when we talk, if you, let's say you had an issue with a check, because of open meeting laws, you can bring the issue to him. We just can't have him be responding, you know, you can do that at the meeting then. But you can say, hey, Derek, I want you to look at check number 132, why are we doing this, in your finance committee meeting.
Yep, if you wanna do it, it's easier. I never wanna put Rod on the spot either, cause it's hard to know. So he's usually got this
I
report
bring
back
all the
there.
checks.
Right, yeah, I was gonna say, he's usually got his box with him, so he can pull it out,
And
but.
Joe, you really should, if you have questions, go through and ask, and question, why are we doing this? Like, I'm glad they brought the snowplow truck to us, because eventually we're gonna have to approve this. But we don't have to, but if we want the snow plowed, we're gonna have to approve it. Now, there are some monthly things that we have to pay, electric, you know, just like you do at your household. Did I answer your
Good
question?
enough.
Okay. Item 12, new business, discussion of possible decision, early college credit and start college now applications.
Yeah, these are the applications for second semester. Mia provided you a list in the board agreement, or in the board packet, of just the various credits that our students are taking. Remember, state statute basically says they're allowed to take 18 credits, as long as it's, you know, not a class you currently teach. If you look at the bottom, there are a couple of them that were denied because we teach something similar to that here, but for the most part, they were accepted. You know, I think it's a great opportunity, obviously, for our kids to continue to push themselves, and obviously for the kids and the families, they're getting college credit done, and
Total tuition was $38,800.
Yep, according to state statute.
I had a quick question on this one. I just kinda went through some of the items. Are there any of these that we'd be able to check off with the expansion of the, like the welding room? Are we gonna get a gas metal arc? weld?
Probably not,
I don't,
no.
I don't
Some
know
of that's
enough about
pretty,
it specifically,
right,
but.
some of that's pretty specific, and I think the issue you run into if you get specific on some of this is, you know, like for instance, that's one kid that's taking that class, so we'd be offering a class for one kid.
Right. I didn't know if
Our
any of these
teacher-
things or some of these items we'd be able to check off the list.
Not probably for the college credit that this kid needs it for graduation. They would have most likely access to it, but not the ability to take it for a credit, because of the time commitment that they would need in it.
just so you know, through our AP classes and this and everything we're doing, we really sometimes, some kids go to college with a year finished already. And
My
and
daughter
they
went
didn't-
with two.
2 years finished already.
Kaylin went to walk
And the nice thing
college
about
with
it is,
26 credits.
we always talk about how do we motivate those kids that want more and are accelerated, and this is one of the ways we do it. We allow kids to take college credit. I think it's a great program.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion, second by Maple, first by Maple, second by Gorman. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item B, discussion, possible decision, final budget levy and tax rate for 25-26 school year.
Yeah, no, in theory too, in the past, there's always been the 25-26 enrollment C on here. Just understand that Rod's gonna cover the enrollment while he covers this part too, so C is just gonna
Okay.
get swept up with B based on Rod's presentation.
Okay, so the agenda point is to approve the budget, which is on pages 4 and 5, and to approve the levy and the mill rate, which is on the bottom of this page. But on this page, we're focusing on Fund 10, which is our major operating fund of the district. And so, open enrollment numbers came in much better than my budgeting had initially, so we're actually at a bigger surplus than I've presented in the past. And that's where most of that came from. You can see in the middle of the page, those are the numbers, and it goes into more detail in a different report. But here's the levy broken out by fund, the mill rate or the tax rate, and the valuation. And we get into more detail then. Here's the levy by dollars compared to the prior year. And note the debt service portion of the levy, referendum debt service portion is going down from the prior year. So when someone complains that their tax bill's going up, it's not from the referendum, and we'll try and stress that whenever and wherever possible. Levy's going up 1.1 million. We actually got our final state aid now, and our decrease in state aid is 1.3 million. So, as we talked about, the state didn't put any money into the state aid this 2-year budget cycle. And if they would have done the normal, we'd probably be very close to not having to increase the levy at all. Here's the historical tax rates. Okay, this page, we were talking, I think, last meeting or the meeting before about how it affects our taxpayers. So we've got, let's say last year their house valuation was $100,000, our tax rate was $589. They'd have $589 in taxes. Our tax rate is going down. That doesn't mean their taxes they're paying on their tax bill is going down, no, because our valuation is going up 11.9%. We don't, so this is a ballpark estimate. We don't get how much of that increase is for new construction as a school district, but the municipalities get that information. So using that, we're in the ballpark of 1.32% of that 11.9 is new construction. The rest of it is inflation on the existing tax bills. So if we use 10.58, which is 11.9 minus 1.32, your $100,000 house, if it's average, you know, your house might go up 5%, your house might go up 15% in valuation. This is just a ballpark average estimate. But if it went up 10.58%, the value of your house is $110,580 now. And even though our tax rate went down to $582, you're paying $644 instead of $589 in taxes. So that's how that part, even though the tax rate is going down, the tax bill is still going up.
And you, when you say the tax rate is going down, that's the mill rate?
Correct.
Tax mill rate, yep.
Okay. And are you saying that taxes are gonna go up 11.9%?
The valuation in the district went up 11.9%.
Okay.
So that's new construction, somebody builds a new storage facility or apartments or something. And just how much your existing houses went up in value. That's
So
the
my
state.
house is worth 11.9% more.
Potentially, like I said, this
Yeah.
is a ballpark, everybody's different, you
Yeah, I
might
know.
have 5%, they might be 15%
Yeah, I
increase.
mean, you might have the Cronenwetter might have gone up 18%, and the town of Mosinee might have only gone up 3%. In the end, when you look at all of the district property, it's 11.9.
And, so, none of the, increase in taxes is because of budget? Because the school's spending more money or less money? You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, we were allowed to levy more to pay for operations as inflationary increase have hit us. The
Okay.
levy is going up because the state did not contribute any additional money to the aid formula in the most recent budget that the state
So if you
passed.
look at this line here, this is Fund 10's expenditures. 2 years ago, 27.145, last year 27 million, this year 26.874. If that answers your question, we reduced where we could last year. So a lot of structural items so that, you know, this year helped. And then, because you've got declining enrollment for a long time, so every year is gonna be, gotta cut a little bit more to match the number of kids, less kids, and I'll show you where that comes in on the revenue limit. But, so this is, the budgets for the various funds, page 4 and 5. And then we've got just kind of a recap that I hope is a little bit more clearer than the actual worksheets that are behind it for the revenue limit. We get a $325 increase per kid. We've got 1,855 three-year average number of kids. And then you get to add in our energy exemption and the vouchers we get the levy for them, but then we gotta pay for them. Declining enrollment exemption brings us back to the prior year's three-year average. So last year's three-year average was 1,906 kids. We're down to 1,855, and I'll show you on the worksheet right here. So down here is summer school, and then our membership counts for the prior year three-year average and then the current year three-year average. So you're dropping off a year and you're adding September 25's counts. So 1906, we're down to 1855. Let me just jump to the enrollment.
Rod, the private school vouchers, what does that all include?
Well, it includes whatever they've got Milwaukee, and they've got, I don't know, I forget what.
So it's not-
Racine, and then the statewide program.
Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not our district?
Yes, it is our
It is
kids
our-
that are going to somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
So what happens on the vouchers is they give us the ability to levy more for them, but then they take it back from us later, so that nets out. But we get the voucher kids count on our state aid, like there are kids.
Oh,
So we shouldn't be affected other than, you know, there's a delay in the state aid a year for those kids count. And last year, we got charged a couple thousand more than what we got the ability to levy for. And the state's only thing was, too bad, you know, when I asked them about it. But, so, on this membership page, this is the top half is the butts in the seats for our kids. Our building, RVA, at home, off-site pre-K schools, 1,878. To get to what they use on the revenue limit worksheet, what we're doing is they count only resident kids. So we're subtracting out the kids that open enrolled in from other districts, that's this column, the 222, and we're adding back our residents that are attending other school districts to open enrollment, the 181. And other than that, pre-K gets 60% count of a kid, but that's how you get to the 1788 is the number we use on our revenue limit worksheet for our membership. So if we go back to right here, that's where this amount comes in. And on the open enrollment, if you go to my admin report, I've got much more detail on that in there, but we don't need to, you can look at that if you have any questions, yell. And the last page is just broken down by the municipalities that make up the school district, the current percentages.
Can you go, why don't you go to that?
Sure. Go to that? Okay.
Yeah, if you would. So I think this is what, kind of what you're, to get a little bit at your question, Joe, as you look at the city of Mosinee. So the city of Mosinee last year made up 28.75% of the total valuation of the district. Now it's down to 26.93. So conceivably, the taxes in the city of Mosinee are gonna go up as they might be somewhere else, because you look at like, town of Knowlton saw 2% increase in their total valuation as it represents to the district. You know, so if we had a column here that showed their levy last year versus their levy this year, then you could see kind of, okay, well, the city of Mosinee's levy might not go up that 11% that you're talking about. It might only go up 6 or 7%, you know, where a place like Bergen, theirs might not hardly go up at all, because their percentage of our total valuation actually went down by 0.42%. So it's interesting because you look at it from a global perspective of your district, but that's just an estimate, because each individual municipality has different variations based on how they went up in your property valuation compared to the next municipality over to them. So it really gets drilled down all the way to your house. Because your house might be different than your neighbor's house in terms of if its valuation went up more or less than what your neighbor's house valuation went up in that given year.
I think the first two townships kind of reflect that. Bergen goes up from 121.8 million to 127, so a $6 million increase. Where Emmett, which is less than half of that, increases by 9 million in their valuation in their township, so. Maybe they just got reassessed.
Right. And then their percentage of the total levy went up by 0.13%, while Bergen went down by 0.42%. So you can get deep into the numbers. And at the end of the day, it gets really confusing if you get too deep into it. I mean, because now you're getting into, okay, well, why did the city of Mosinee go up? Because now we can say the city of Mosinee, well, let's use the village of Cronenwater, went up $30 million, but is that because they put in the storage sheds on the corner of, you know, Old 51, and is it Maple Ridge or Kowalski? Yeah, so if those are in our districts, how much of that property contributed to this $30 million increase in their property values? Or maybe like we talked about, the town of Bolton saw almost $90 million jump in their property valuation. But was that new construction? Was that some additions that were put on houses? Or was that just flat all the property values went up that much in that municipality? So there's a lot of variables in it, that you try to make a blanket statement that makes it easy for everybody, but in the end of the day, there's a lot of
It's
individual
not, yeah.
variables.
But if
Yeah.
but if you had to put it in layman's term and have a 30-second elevator speech to explain to someone why their tax bill went up, it would essentially be, one, the value of your home probably went up, check your tax bill. Two, we get to take $325 per child more. That's what the state has let us do by increasing the revenue limit. But on the backside of it, they didn't put any money in, so that money is directly coming out of your taxpayer.
Yeah. I mean,
That's the
it's
essential.
Yeah, the easiest way, you're right, you know, I would flip-flop the two. I would start by saying, your taxes are going up because the state allowed us to go to $325 more per pupil, but they didn't give us any more money, so they basically said,
You have
the
to tax,
increase is
yeah.
all on the taxpayer's back. Then you can drill it down to property valuations of your municipality and all the other factors beyond that, but the bottom line is this, the state didn't give us any more money.
But essentially, so when someone asked though, it wasn't the
They
referendum.
didn't give us any more money, and our spend was more? I don't think it was according to these
On
numbers.
the second page, it's got the state aid. I think that's what you're thinking now.
So
You
if
can
I
see where
wanted-
our state aid
I
was,
wanted a little bit
last
more
year it went down
understanding.
1.3 million.
Who would I talk to? You two?
For the school portion, but then your overall property tax bill, keep in mind that there's, some of it goes to NTC, some of it goes to the county, some of it goes to whatever township or municipality you live in. So there's multiple dollars coming in to create your property taxes.
So I did go to the town meeting last week, 2 weeks ago. And I used what I'd asked Greg for some information. And that really helped those that were there because they were confused. They thought it was referendum mostly based. And I used what Greg had given me to explain it. And they were happy. I mean, because they said, well, you should have come to the annual meeting. But anyway,
A big concern is
it
that
helped.
if it goes up, people are gonna say, you
Yeah.
lied about the referendum.
Right.
And that's not the case.
Right, so.
And that's been in the last, it was in the last link, it's gonna go in the
Yes.
link article I just wrote yesterday. Rod's working on a letter to go.
When I send the
out.
tax levy certificates to the townships, I'll send a letter. Hopefully they put that on their counter, so when they get questions, I know a couple of townships did that last year.
Tomorrow morning at 9:20, a bunch of us school board members are, Big Falls Radio are doing a question and answer session to let people kind of know a little bit about why your taxes and what the state did. Because again, people don't understand that and they'll just blame your local school district.
Right, and they also don't understand the equalized value
No.
portion of that and why their taxes probably went up also, I know.
If you put a new roof on, your house is worth more. If you put an addition on, your house is worth more. Sometimes you do nothing, but the value of your house still goes up.
The land.
Land, whatever
The
it is,
land goes up.
and you're gonna be taxed more for it. I like to equate it with, it's an antique car that just every year keeps going up in value, up in value, up in value.
Well, if it costs more to build a new house than existing houses, they're gonna go up in cost.
Yeah.
So what's going on the radio tomorrow?
Chad Holmes is doing like a local school board thing, just an informational thing about the taxes and things like that.
Where is that, man?
98 point some FM, it's in Wausau.
Oh, you're gonna be on the radio?
Yeah,
I can't get at the station.
I think Jim Boucher, the president of the Wausau School Board, and then DC Everest president, I think, will all be there or doing it at different
So
times.
it's not Mosinee specific?
It's, we tried to, well, I know the other, board presidents, so we tried to kind of get some information out. And people listen to radio, especially talk radio, so, we're just gonna get out and do the same thing. Just understand your tax bill. Don't think it's because of referendum, because Wassa's in the same situation. They had a major referendum go through, and they're gonna see an increase, and it's not really because of the referendum. A lot of it has to do with property values.
So,
Other questions?
we need a motion, right, Rod?
Yep.
Motion on the budget and
Final
the
levy.
levy and mill rate.
Do they have to be separate, or can they all be one?
They could be on the same, it's on the same agenda item.
Yep.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Kaiser,
I'll second.
second by Nest. Any discussion? Does it have to be a roll call? Nope. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
We have 2 noes.
And so can I ask another question?
Can I ask any question you want?
Say a majority said no.
Then
What would happen?
We wouldn't have a
We
budget,
wouldn't have a budget.
couldn't operate.
Couldn't
You have to set the levy tonight, though.
We'd have to set the levy.
Tonight's the
yeah.
levy.
Yeah,
If
set the
everybody
levy.
voted no,
We'd have to
then we
figure
would
out
not-
what the levy would be if palatable
we'd have to
for the
readjust
people.
it and make a vote.
And then we would have to try to figure out how to balance the budget from that, considering the largest majority of all of our expenditures are already.
So does this vote really mean anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
It does.
It was 7-2, 7 yes, 2 no.
Okay.
It passed. Motion carried. Okay, item,
I got one other question.
go for it.
The kids that are leaving our school district, do we interview why they're, maybe I heard that before, but
Yeah, we haven't in the last year. I can't answer what they did before that. It's always-
what's your gut feeling?
About why?
Yeah.
I think there's any number of things that happen. It's no different than why kids open and roll in. We have more ins than outs. We're plus 40. It's a variety of things. It can be everything from athletics to they've always lived, they've always gone there, and they moved to their house, and it's on the other side of the line. It could be they started there in 4K because it was easier for their parents because of travel with daycare. It could be they just wanted to go somewhere else because they thought there were better opportunities elsewhere. I mean, there's any number of reasons why people open and roll in and open and roll out.
Historically, though, over the last 5 years, we've tipped in the positive. We
Yep.
were negative before, now we're in, so it's trending up,
And
which is
this,
good.
10 years ago, we really wouldn't have had this discussion much.
Right.
It's the new fad. School choice is big. Vouchers are big.
Right.
Open enrollment's big. We're giving people choices.
Which is good.
I don't have an issue with that either.
I had asked for the historical too, and I know it's hard to pinpoint because it's probably pretty early, but just to know like at what point people or students might be open enrolling. Like, are they enrolling out and then they see we provide a ton of college credit and then we have a huge influx at the high school level?
But we did get a big influx during COVID because a lot of school
Yep,
districts
I
didn't go
remember
in
that.
person, and we did. And some people loved it, some
Yep.
people hated it. And as Greg had spoken to, you'd almost have to go to all 180 to find out exactly, and you might get 40 different responses,
Or 180.
or it could be.
I was just curious, like you said,
Is
is
it
we
worth-
put a lot of value
you
in
don't
those
really
college
think it's
credits
worth-
that we
I
are
didn't say
offering.
it's not worth it. I
Yeah,
just,
Too much.
it wasn't something that we tackled last year. I'm not saying we couldn't tackle it this year or next year. 'Cause open enrollment's done. The other factor that people don't realize is open enrollment is now year round.
Yes.
Open enrollment used to be just the month of
Not
like
anymore.
February, then it was February to April, and now it's year round open enrollment. So you can open enroll tomorrow to another district. So that's made the numbers.
Start going to school in the other district the next day?
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
Oh, I don't know that.
Yep, it used to just be a window that you could open and enroll for the following year. Now it's wide open, you can open and enroll anytime you want, as long as you check the right box on the form.
With item C, is there any more discussion about the 25-26 enrollment? Anybody else want any more questions? I know we went over it a little bit more.
I do have a, sorry.
Go for it, you, as many as you want.
You know, what is our plan for, declining enrollment to deal with it? Do we have a, other than just,
Well, I mean, I think declining enrollment is a product of a variety of things. I mean, is it kind of that
I know,
that
it's
thing
not-
I said to you,
it's not
it's
simple.
national. I think locally, one of the biggest reasons of declining enrollment, I would say, is, you know, you obviously have, you obviously have more kids, you know, people are having fewer kids. There's not a lot of housing in this community to move into, which is a huge factor. There's no housing for people to go to. If you try to look for a house for sale, there's not a lot of options out there right now.
Daycare,
And, you know,
that's a problem in almost every community?
yes, housing's an issue. Daycare is a big
you know,
issue.
some are better than others, I would say, you know, like if you look, like the DC Everest area is not as hard, they got Weston and Rothschild and Schofield and all those areas, there's plenty of houses for sale, but you try to find one in Mosinee, in our district, and there's not a tremendous amount of options out there unless you wanna go $800,000-900,000 plus. There's not a lot of, I would call that family starter home level.
But you don't have to live in Mosinee to go to school here.
Correct, but that doesn't impact, declining enrollment is mainly due to the kids that live in our district. That's where it all starts.
In this area, I do believe there is only one school, and I'm talking like a 70-mile radius. Abbotsford is the only school that is increasing enrollment.
Well,
Hispanic.
Marathon. Yeah.
Marathon too. Marathon went up a little bit, but Abbotsford went up like 30, 40 kids. And otherwise, if you go to every school district, most school districts in the state are declining.
Okay, well, if that's a fact of life, how are we gonna deal with it here out? And I don't necessarily expect a answer, but, you know, thinking about it, how do you deal with that?
Well, you deal with it through constant improvement, offering choices, being someplace that people wanna be, giving them a big-time feeling with not the big-time population.
I think, like Paul said, you continue to promote. I think you also have to look at, you know, the factors above you. Declining enrollment means less people, so you have to be creative in your budgeting to try to right-size what's going on. You know, so I think that's a constant conversation that we have, and today this morning was our weekly admin meeting, and that was a conversation we had, is now that this budget's kind of put to bed, for this current school year, we're gonna start digging into next year's budget and find out where we are and what does that look like from a staffing level, what does that look like from, you know, are there other things we can look to help right-size us, you know, not all staffing, but there might be other things, you know, whether there's a contract we have that we can bring in and do it ourselves, you know, so I think there's a lot of factors, there's, you know, we're looking at, can we write, you know, that's why we have a Matt Lindsay with grant writing, so, you know, cause it's not just all the expense side, there's also a revenue side, and so you look at, in revenue, you can, in a roundabout way, control, is you can try to increase your ability to people to wanna come here, which Paul mentioned, through open enrollment. And then you gotta look at, you know, like, how are you gonna try to generate other revenues, whether that be grants, whether that be opportunities to look elsewhere for other types of revenues, because I think too often people look at it just from an expense side, and it's not all just an expense side with how to balance a budget. Now, I will tell you the difference between us, and I've talked about this with people, with legislators before, is the idea that, you know, when inflation was kind of running rampant there for a while, and people were raising wages left and right, you know, you were making, you know, a decent amount of money working at the Culvers and the Quick Trips of the world, not begrudging that, but those wages were going up. The thing I kept saying to them is, you know, for lack of a better example, you know, Culver's can charge an extra nickel per Butterburger, and it's not gonna stop you from going to Culver's. I don't have a nickel per Butterburger I can charge in this district, in this profession, this industry, to increase revenue per se. So we have to look at other ways.
Do we have a good, looking at grants, I mean,
Yep.
who does that? Do we
Matt
have a
Lindsay,
group?
yeah, we have this year, we have a CT coordinator and grant writer, and he's in the process of, he just turned a bunch of them in the last week, and he's got a bunch of other ones he's looking at.
And Tom has gotten several.
Yep.
We've gotten just $100,000 grants.
if you wanna see the report, Matt Lindsay put together a really good one for the finance department, we went through it, I didn't supply it, I asked
It's
for
in
it
the-
either
it's in
monthly
your-
or quarterly, and that's what I thought, I didn't
It's in
remember if
your-
it was one thing, so.
If you go through the finance, you have that, you click on the finance thing, you go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, our referendum is huge, because it's kind of like sporting, colleges. If you build, people wanna go to new stuff, they want new curriculum, they want cutting edge stuff, they want good sports. They want that stuff. They want AP courses, college courses. If you can offer those things, they want variety shows and, 700-seat auditorium.
Kresge Center.
Yep, those are big things. It's competition. Okay. Any other discussion? Item D, discussion and possible decision of co-op agreement for gymnastics. Mr. Doversman?
Yeah, Stratford School District approached us about doing a cooperative for gymnastics. They talked to us about it last year. We missed the deadline to apply for it. Co-op would actually start this year, but from a WA competition standpoint, it wouldn't start varsity-wise until next year. But their kids would start coming over this year. They could compete at the JV level and the middle school level, and they've agreed to share 50% of the cost with us. And they're gonna bring over 5 to 8 kids, and I think that number has the potential to go up. So obviously, it's a win-win, kind of is how we're looking at it.
So it's our current budget, and they'll take 50% of it.
Yep,
Where are we putting them?
same place they've been.
So taking up that entire gym, so are we rotating the schedule, so it's sharing with all the sports? Or,
You mean the middle school?
Yes, there's times when they put the floor down that's not as feasibly possible.
right,
Because the floor is labor intensive.
right. 'Cause I know, we've been talking about this for years, and we kept saying, last year we looked at it because the numbers were so low. Again, the numbers are low from just our district, and now we're really not sure if they'll exactly have that number of students. And I guess I look at it like, are we taking space and having kids go to sporting events or practices later because we gotta keep taking down and putting up the equipment all the time, every day?
Before the Stratford board voted on it, they got a commitment from those girls.
Okay,
So otherwise, they didn't want to approve this.
right.
So that's pretty much a commitment. Now they think eventually that will grow. They think there's an interest. Supposedly, some girls go to Marshfield now to something that will come over to Mosinee.
But just the local competition
Yep.
and where we're going, we
Yeah.
have to go pretty far
Yep.
to compete, and that's the other part of the,
I think this is a creative way to get numbers in the program. We've co-op before.
oh, I understand,
Many times.
right, yeah. And it's been.
Good
and-
news is, we're not flipping the total bill now.
Right. Well, it's not so much as the money, again, it's just the taking the equipment up and down and, where we can best utilize, are our numbers growing in the basketball, are we trying to shift and having these kids go to late practices? Are we best utilizing, again, who is putting this equipment together and taking it down?
Do we know the ages of the high school girls?
They're
from
younger.
they are.
They're not seniors.
Just asking.
Yeah, no, good question. I'm just saying, they're not seniors, because yes, I agree with that question. I get it.
This seems to me more like a budget question than an overall program budget. And
Well,
I think we would address that with the athletic
Let's
director.
just get
It's
this
the
out of the way.
budget, yeah.
Yep,
There's
right.
been discussion about if gymnastics did not increase their numbers, that it was not financially feasible to continue this.
Yep.
This is them reaching out and increasing their numbers and trying to keep their program going. One of the problems they have is gym sport will not, they used to allow their gymnasts to come to Mosinee and participate. The last 5 years, they said either you go to Mosinee or you go to gym sport. And so the girls, gym sport's a whole nother level. They just stopped coming. We've got a lot of gymnastics girls that go to gym sport. The gymnastic coaches are hoping to build the program over where they can have 15 high school gymnasts.
So does Stratford have a gymnastics coach also?
No.
Oh, they don't.
Nope,
So
they will not be
don't.
bringing a coach. My understanding, Greg, is no coach, they're gonna use our coaches.
Our coaches.
So my question is, with more
students, are any of the costs going to increase, or the costs should stay the same?
No.
Cost should stay the same
Same,
based on the
exactly.
number.
For us, it's gonna go down 50%.
Right.
Right, yeah,
That-
no,
yeah.
the numbers are not anticipated to go up, where we're gonna have to add a coach.
I couldn't remember for
Exactly what it is.
gymnastics, I thought you had to have so many assistants per,
Or you
Yeah.
do have to
Right.
have a coach.
right?
Mhm.
That
We
was
have
the only
coaches
thing.
now.
We
We
have
have a
coaches
program
now.
of coaches.
Okay.
We will not need to, the
Add new
anticipation
positions.
is we will not need to add one.
Derek, I think that
Okay.
number has to be like, they have to have like 30 high school.
Okay,
gymnasts.
so that's what I said, I didn't know where that
It's not
benchmark
a-
was to add another one.
It's
No,
nothing.
we're not there.
We're not there at
And
16
we're,
kids now.
we're hoping and talking to Nate, the superintendent there, we're hoping that this grows. And we can get, 10, 12 high school participants from Mosinee, 8, 9 from Stratford, and we've got a nice team. Diane's point is correct. Sometimes they have to travel.
They do have to travel. It's not so much the budget, it's never really been about the budget, it's just space and where they're going to participate, because there's
Space
really
is
no
better
local,
space.
right.
The good news is, in another year, we have the old weight room is becoming a wrestling room. So that will make sure the wrestlers, they won't need the cafeterias anymore. Right now with basketball practice, it would be probably nice to have another gym, but a lot of the coaches don't like that middle school gym, cause it's so small.
Yeah.
And then the youth people try to do their practice at night until the floor stays down. Then they try to go to different
And
gyms.
even then, they don't like it.
To be
They know
honest,
it's too small.
I coached youth basketball till
They hate
we
it.
got into high school. We would literally, the middle school gym is what it is. We would prefer to go anywhere else, just
Yep.
because it is what it is. I mean, the program's gonna exist anyways. Mosinee's gonna have a high school gymnastics
That's
program,
right.
so the equipment's going up and down or whatever the
Mhm.
situation is this year, one way or the other. If I'm hearing this right, we've just got somebody that's willing to take half of the costs for the things that we're gonna do one way or the other.
Correct. This is a win-win for our school district, and it's a chance to breathe some life in the gymnastic program and hopefully get it to numbers that we want.
But is the equipment safe? Because of the constant put up, tear down, those types of things.
I don't know that answer.
I think we have to rely on our athletic
I
director to
haven't-
manage the coordination and the
Right,
equipment.
I haven't heard that it's not safe. I asked that question
Well,
specifically,
and-
no,
and
but I
that-
have not heard that it is, and a lot of that equipment is designed to go up and down. It's no different than wrestling mats are designed to come up and down, and volleyball nets are designed to come up and down, and the standard that the volleyball official stands on.
And Chris Sly is gonna be the middle school coach, and so,
She's,
knowing her.
she's resigned.
Oh, she's
Yeah.
retired, okay.
But-
So my point is that, knowing her, she'd be here telling us we need new equipment.
Well, so now technically we're down to one then, right?
There's
See,
the-
I understand.
And no, there's a high school coach and
High
a
school
middle school
coach.
coach.
And middle school.
There's gonna be 2 coaches for high school and middle school, which is what we had last year.
I can see both sides of it. On one hand, this is a great opportunity to get more kids into a program that had historically low numbers by bringing them from another school. On the other hand, we don't have space. And so it seems slighting to the youngest kids who are in the gym until 9:30 at night, our students, having to wait that long because they're at the bottom.
But I would counter that by saying, that's a youth program that is not run by the school district.
I'm not
So, I mean,
disagreeing
I'm
with
just-
that,
I-
but certainly feeds our school
Well, the thing
programs
about it
once
is
they get to it.
We're gonna have gymnastics. It's too late to make a vote to eliminate it. So we're gonna have it this year, with or without Stratford. So the point is, to me, bringing Stratford now breathes some life into it. I understand that we have some space issues, but now we might have more people using our space.
Is this something that we would evaluate every year? Is this like a one-year
Yep.
commitment,
2-year commitment,
2-year commitment?
that's how long a co-op is for.
And how do you know that maybe we might not
Well,
be able to get an advantage? They might see something, or somebody in their group might see something and add to the program.
Well,
I mean, there's
they
always
would have maybe had more high school kids, but they thought the date to sign the co-op was wrong. So they missed the date. So they could compete at the JV level, they can't compete at the varsity level, which may spur, you know, some of those people that might go to Marshfield, now, next year may come back to Mosinee Stratford.
For the Marshfield?
Well, Stratford usually sends their gymnasts to a gym in Marshfield.
They don't, their kids go there, they don't send
Yeah,
them
they
there.
don't go there, but yeah, they go there.
I mean, I still see on the other side though too. It's hard to commit to it for 2 years because we wouldn't run a class with only a couple of kids. And we're running a sport with a couple of kids, but do I wanna take away a sport from any kid? If that's, I think a kid should be involved in anything, so if gymnastics is their thing, what hurts us though is that the kids who have been putting in a lot of work at private gyms, practicing, training all summer long for 16 hours, 4 hours a day is what they're required to train. They're fantastic gymnasts, but they're not allowed to compete at their own school because of that. And so it's hard to come in and say you're gonna grow a program when you have that stronghold saying, no, you're not. You're not gonna grow it from outside of these walls, you're not.
Well, I
But
think,
the same argument could be made about hockey, as you have youth hockey, junior hockey, and the traveling hockey teams that are happening, that might not grow a program either, because there's plenty of junior hockey programs running around the state all around the country.
But we
that high
don't,
school
we don't
kids
own
are-
a rink.
But you still on, probably, you still have a program that you're paying over $20,000 a year in rent for.
I'll just give you one example. Avery Alice was our last gymnast to
Mm-hmm.
go to state. She was at gym sport. When she was forced to make a decision, she came to Mosinee.
There are other ones though who are
Yeah,
still.
but my point is, if the program gets better, chances are we may lure some of those people to come back to a better program.
I hope it does, I hope this works out well, I do see it as a
Well,
positive, and I
the good
appreciate
news-
Kelly's working with and reaching out and actually coming up with a solution, rather than being stagnant, as it's been for years and years and years, of saying, we have dwindling numbers and we're not doing anything, so I appreciate that, and I'm fine moving forward. I am just airing some of the concerns with it, is when you look at districts who have $100 million more than us and they don't have a program. You know, it's great that we do have a program, but
I think that's
there's
what-
reason for it.
That's always been in my mind too, like, why don't they offer a camp for elementary students or something?
I think these
That
are
would
things
help.
they're
Yeah, they need
thinking
a
of.
feeder program.
And
What was that?
Yeah.
elementary camps, how do they promote their program and encourage people to, and I think they're thinking that. The good news is this is 2 years. In 2 years, if this doesn't work, then I think, and our numbers go down, I think we all know what the next step is.
And what's it gonna cost us a year if Stratford takes half of it?
10,000 roughly.
Yep.
10,000?
Yep. We're into it for $20,000 roughly speaking, or if we approve the co-op, we're into it for 10,000.
So in my mind, if we sign this, we bought ourselves 2 years anyway. We'd be in the same boat.
Same
So
boat.
if they're
Yeah.
taking 50%, we
right.
basically bought ourselves an extra year to see how it
And-
works out.
and we've been-
We're not out anything in 2
We've
years.
been honest with the coaches in the program.
Yeah,
But
right.
we've been honest with the
Yep.
coaches that they've gotta get numbers out and build the program.
Yep.
Yeah, they need a feeder program is what they need.
Yep, right. I think this gives them the timeline to do it.
You need a
I think
feeder program, you
Yes.
need a youth program,
So either
essentially.
way, essentially, we're gonna spend $20,000.
The money's
Either
already
way.
spent, yes.
So I'm looking for a motion.
So moved.
Like, motion by Bauer, second by Nest. Any more discussion?
I have one last question.
Yep.
What fund does this come out of? Is it fund time?
All athletics come out of one time.
Okay, is that answer your question? Any other discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. No. Okay, awesome. Administrative reports. We're ready to go down the list.
I got nothing to add.
Nothing. Anybody else?
If you wanted to see detail on open enrollment, you could look at my report at your convenience.
The only thing I would add is, back here is the new material handling robot we got with the DWD grant. If on your way out, you hit the green button, it will run through a demo mode. You can kind of see it run through. We just wanted you to see we have it. We're starting trainings in the next month for our staff. That'll be available for student usage and programming next year.
How much that cost?
That one in particular, off the top of my head,
But if it's free, we get
85
it.
grand.
We got a grant.
Correct, that was part of the DWD where we didn't pay any money, it was all 100% matched or donated funds.
All right, item 14, other reports. Wasby.
So Greg has, the upcoming events listed. The WASB regional update in Cedar, is it Cedar Creek, correct?
Holiday Inn, yep.
Holiday Inn. And
Yep.
the state convention, the 2025 fall legislative conference, which is also in Stevens Point, I believe.
And I did leave that at your desk, yes.
Yes, and I'm assuming everybody probably
I don't know
received
if
one in the
everybody
mail.
got it, I just got
received
it,
this
so
in the
I
mail
just-
too about the
Yeah.
election for
Okay.
Region 5, which looks like there's one.
Jim Boucher looks like the only one running.
Yeah, but that will be at the, regional
Yep.
meeting. I guess that's.
Which is a week from tonight.
Just wanna let Jackie know if you're attending any of those.
So far, it's myself, Greg, and you.
Yeah, if we can know about the state convention, the sooner the better. Even if you have a 51% chance of attending, we can start getting hotels. Those, for some reason, over the last 4 or 5 years, are filling up ridiculously fast than what they used to fill up early in my career. So if you have an inkling that you think you might be attending, that would be great, so we can get those hotels reserved when they open a bench right away on November 3rd.
I would encourage all the new members to go. It was an eye-opening experience. It's really good. You can go and find out unbelievable amounts of things.
So if you could just let us know so we can get your hotel reservations reserved, that would be great.
Okay, item B, CISA 9 report.
Okay, I think, I can't remember the last meeting if I did or not, but, CISA 9 is now helping grant writers, with a list of grants and, someone to help them write the grant if it has particular, what do you call it, stipulations to that grant. So I did, talk to Matt Lindsay and gave him some of the information that we had, so there was quite a number of grant options for the district to take advantage of. As probably some of you know, this year we were supposed to host the PD event
Yep.
at Mosinee, but that's been moved to Merrill, but next year it will come back to Mosinee. And, the other stuff, I can't tell you about yet because we didn't approve the minutes so, from the last meeting. So, from the October meeting, yeah. So it's kind of a challenge because you go to the meeting, but you can't report at that meeting at your monthly meeting because the minutes haven't been approved. So I have to stop and remember.
Thank
Don't
you.
say that.
Thank you both, appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, item 15, future agenda items.
We'll have the PTO fundraiser will come and make their check, presentation to us. Special ed, and I just remembered high school is on there, Act 20, and then state and local report cards, so another heavy month of presentations.
Okay.
Next month.
Item 16, we will move into closed session, executive session. We will be doing section 19.85. 1C reads, considering employment, promotion, compensation, performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. And we will be talking about school resource officer contracts
And staff,
and staffing.
yeah, staff updates.
Okay,
I'll make the motion to.
we have a motion to go into closed executive session by Gorman, second by Zebro. And we don't need a roll call.
Yes.
Yep, we
Roll
do.
call, roll call.
I'm on it.
Derek Ness,
Yes.
Joe Nadler,
Yeah.
Calandra Zebro,
Yes.
Gorman,
Yes.
Kaiser,
Yes.
Maple. Yes. Stankowski,
Yes.
Novitsky,
Yes.
Bauer.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Let's move in. Take a 10-minute recess, be back.